Have you ever driven over a highway bridge and couldn't help but look below? Or stood on a shoreline's rocky ridge just to watch the water flow? And count yourself as one of the few with a different set of dreams, the kind that keeps you up at night, 'cause you can't wait to get to that stream. It's more than a river. It's more than the water flowing or where it's going. It's the grip on the paddle and the shit in the saddle, the V in the boulders and the lean in the shoulders. When you reach for the eddy, it doesn't get better than this. Yes, it's more, so much more than a river.
Hey everybody, welcome. You are live with us here with Cross Currents Leadership. We are live on Facebook, Substack, and YouTube, and we're doing this series just over the winter as we lead up into the spring paddling season. We're doing just 15 minutes at a pop, and we're talking to experts across paddle sports and outdoor recreation, giving you those golden nuggets of information. They're going to help you level up your paddle sports leadership in 2026. Tonight, I feel so lucky. I am here with my very good friend and frequent colleague, Jeff Little. Jeff, thank you so much for making some time for us tonight.
Sure. Glad to be here.
Jeff, you and I are friends. We work together a lot. We have a kind of a shared mission on some of these topics.
Yep.
But these guys may or may not know. There's a lot of folks that clearly know. You're one of the OGs in terms of safety training and instruction in kayak fishing. Back in, what was it, in the 2000s? You were like the first generation of ACA instructors bringing this stuff to people.
I think it was 2002 through Kaleva. It was Tom McEwen that I certified under, and did about 9 years of teaching river kayak to kayak anglers when kayak fishing wasn't a thing that was widely accepted, understood, or even acknowledged. So I was growing the sport at the same time, trying to instruct folks to make sure that they're doing it safely and effectively.
Yep. And we didn't piece it together till later, but when Joff Luckett and I got involved more recently and helped kind of evolve that curriculum and bring that training to market specifically for kayak anglers, by anglers, for anglers, we were kind of the third generation of instructors, but we were very much carrying on the work you had been doing for a long time.
Yep.
So let's talk about why this is so poignant, why we really need to focus on how do we prepare our kayak angler brethren, our friends, our neighbors, our community to be able to make the good decisions, so they spend more time fishing.
Right. So it really comes down to getting the education out there into the community, whether it's one-on-one instruction or just fostering. And recently, it's just been a whole lot of it through social media. But these practices, like practicing reboarding, obviously getting out there with friends so that you have that safety net with you, wearing the right gear. Preparing for
back in the 2000s when you got started, what was your impetus? What inspired you that this was important?
It's ironic because I was at the section of River of the Potomac where this happened today. I was telling somebody that I'm actually working on a fish tagging study on the Upper Potomac, and the gentleman who's running that organization said, "Hey, let's meet here." I'm like, I know it well. When he got off the water and we started going over things, and I told him my history there, which was that I had just bought a kayak, took it down through Seneca Breaks on the Upper Potomac, and flipped in a strainer, not knowing that it was a strainer. It was just a log, and popped up, in my blue jeans and hooded sweatshirt, and lost. I wore glasses back then. Lost the glasses, lost some gear, and I was upside down in a strainer for like 10, 15 seconds,
Yeah.
like held there, because I didn't understand. Like, I had the beginner ignorance, and that's what gets a lot of folks. But I popped up in because I was 23 years old at the time, and 23-year-olds are more resilient. And I got through there and popped up and said, I need an education. I went to the DC Canoe Cruisers Association, took paddling classes and swiftwater rescue, and eventually the ACA certification. But it was a near miss there. I had another one with an anchor, and I had another one that was hypothermia related. We were on a week-long camping float trip from Paw Paw, West Virginia, down to Williamsport. So it's not quite 70 miles. And we had 6.5 days, and somewhere in the middle, it was early October. It rained, all of our gear was wet, and this was hypothermia off the water. We had been on the water, and it was the most severe case of hypothermia that I had experienced. Yeah. But it was related to, we had been in the water, and just not having the right gear can get you. So,
well, for sure, having a few of those near misses, having some scares, getting into some bad situations that you realize in hindsight were preventable, right, that maybe you didn't even have vocabulary for when they happened, but now you do.
Right.
That certainly has inspired me to get this message out to the world. So I get it.
Sure. And, every spring, especially this time of year, we lose kayak anglers, and we hear about it in the tournament community, because it seems like it always happens where someone's pre-fishing for a tournament and they're pushing hard regardless of the weather. This is a timely time of year to talk about it, because we've had a hard winter up here, but we've also had some 60-degree days. And I was out last weekend, and air temperature was beautiful, but that water was still like 38 to 41 degrees. And not knowing that, hey, just because it feels really good, and, not understanding the rule of 120, or just that hypothermia and the involuntary gasp when you fall in the water can get you is dangerous for a whole lot of people. And that's, unfortunately, without the education and the community understanding that and saying, hey, where's your dry suit? Where's your PFD? And, hey, have you intentionally flipped the kayak and learned how to get back in? Those are barriers to survival that we need to help foster in the community.
So yeah, let's dig into that a little bit, because there's some really simple things that people can do. And if you make these decisions at the beginning of the day, even if something goes wrong, you're in a better position. You're going to be able to spend more time smiling and have more fun, because you planned for the just in case, right?
Yeah. I actually cover a lot of these I have a educational series on my Uscreen channel, and one of the free ones, it's a subscription-based video channel, right? It's the little stuff on Uscreen, but one of the free one is a pre-trip safety checklist, where we go over things like the rule of 120 and the safety gear, the kayak layout, making sure that you have a clear lane to jump back in the kayak without entanglement hazards. If you have, kayak fishing gear, depth finder, and motor controls and anchors and everything else preventing you from get back in. I talk about the visibility lights that you should have. I go through a lot of things. I definitely go through the float plan and the dropping a waypoint where you put in and sending it to somebody else with a picture of yourself and what you're wearing and the boats, so that the search and rescue has something to go on to, all right, this is who we're looking for. These are the boats. This is what they're wearing. I cover all that stuff. The rest of the stuff that's on there, 17 different videos, is a lot of paddling instruction as it relates to kayak fishing. But that pre-trip safety checklist is something that I wanted there for anybody, regardless of whether they're going to subscribe to my educational videos or not. They should have that content.
Well, guys, look, the data supports everything that Jeff is saying. I mean, we know 87% of the time it's the fact that you're wearing your PFD that gets you home when something unexpected happens.
Yep.
So you gotta take that PFD seriously. And it turns out the latest analysis of the data of the Coast Guard data from ACA is that paddling with a buddy is just as important as wearing your PFD, not going alone. Because when something goes wrong, there's somebody there to help you.
So that was the case with my anchor incident. I was young and stupid and ignorant to what can happen if you have an anchor that grabs really hard in current. And I was in a sit-in kayak. It was a Perception Access, kind of a high volume whitewater boat, kind of a creeking boat. And I'd set it up for fishing. And I was with my buddy Kurt Long. We were on the Potomac up from Fletcher's Boathouse, went up towards Chain Bridge, and I dropped that anchor, and I could feel it grab or feel it smack a few rocks, and then it grabbed hard, and it pulled the back of the boat totally underwater, and I just started whipping back and forth. And I was basically, while facing downstream, anchored off the stern, ruddering to keep from flipping all the way around. And I knew with the amount of current that I was in that I had made a big mistake. And had I flipped upside down, you can't tell from this, but I'm 6'4". I have a 36-inch inseam. I was like, I don't know that I'm wet exiting. I think it's just going to fold me over and keep me there and drown me, is what I envisioned immediately. Yeah. And my buddy Kurt, he saw what was happening. He's like, I'm coming. And he was paddling hard against heavy current, and he got upstream. I'm whipping back like this, and he had the knife on the PFD, came down, T-bone sideways, ripped and cut that thing. And I had never felt such relief in an instant as I did in that moment. And Kurt saved my life. And yes, I mean, that's the advantage of having a buddy, having a very capable buddy too.
So. Right. Somebody you've trained with and that's smart and paying attention to you.
Yep.
So okay. So number 1, PFD. Number 2, paddle with a friend. Number 3, you said it earlier, dress for the water temperature. And whether that's having a dry suit, having a wet suit, having a windbreaker that's also kind of protects you from the rain. You've got to layer up and protect yourself from the elements and assume you're going to end up in the water at some point today.
Yep. I also bring the dry bag with a, fresh set of dry clothes. This time of year, I bring the fire starting stuff. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I arm myself to battle hypothermia. And I was out yesterday. I'll be out tomorrow. And yesterday was a 33-degree rain. Went out, caught some fish, tagged fish for Maryland DNR, and had a good day. But it was cold. And at the end of the day, I still had an hour to fish, and I'm like, yeah, I'm pulling myself out because I was like,
because it was cold.
Yeah, I'm losing. Well, it wasn't just discomfort; it was getting nervous, and it was like I'm losing some of my faculties. I'm exhibiting a little bit. I self-recognize. It's always harder to self-recognize. It's easier to recognize it in your friend. The stumbles, the umbles, the stumble, mumble, fumble, and grumble. It's your hypothermia, symptoms. So again, another reason to go with a friend. They're going to see, hey, I don't think you're doing well. Let's get out of here.
Yeah. Let's go get some coffee. Let's go get some cider. Let's go get something warm.
Yep.
Well, guys, I want to encourage you to continue this journey. And Jeff has given us some resources that I've included in the show notes. There's a link there to sign up for his newsletter. I've also included a link to the Q&A article that he gave about the training that we all did with ACA for the kayak fishing instructors. He did that interview with Kayak Angler Magazine, and that link is in there. I also included the link to Jeff's Uscreen instructional video channels. And as he said, there's some free videos there, including that safety training trip checklist. So take advantage of those. I also, Jeff was gracious enough, I included his email address in there if you want to reach out to him with questions or you want to find out about when his classes are. We've also been having conversations with Drew Gregory at Kayak Adventure Series and with Chad Hoover at Kayak Bass Fishing and K-Fast. There's a lot of classes coming up this summer or all over the country. So keep an eye out. There's going to be some instructors teaching these skills. You can get into that controlled environment with a group of instructors and practice reboarding. There's a lot of skills you can learn together.
K-Fast is I actually reviewed the first go with, before they released it, but Chad and Darren have done a great job, and that's something that you can do at home before you start getting out on the water. Really great resource for folks to, get safe, make sure that they're making it home after each trip.
Yep. All righty. Well, I'm going to wrap it up here. I've got a few announcements. If you'll hang with me just for a sec, Jeff, while I kind of catch everybody up on a couple of things. Guys, I'm going to be taking Sunday evening off. We had some schedule juggling and some obligations I've got to take care of. So we're going to take Sunday evening off from the live stream, but we'll be back Wednesday, a week from tonight, on March 11th, with Deborah Kane from Rally Crew. It's a new sort of home base for whitewater paddlers all over the country. We'll be talking about all the things that are involved in that community and that technology and that community. Also, if you remember a couple weeks ago when Jeff Atkins was here, we were talking about the Smart Start curriculum, and we offered a Zoom instructor endorsement for any already certified level 1 and level 2 instructors who wanted to earn that endorsement so they could deliver the certification. Well, due to popular demand, we're going to be offering another session. So I've included in the show notes and on my website, there's a Zoom class for already certified instructors on March 24th. So if you want to take advantage of that, go ahead and sign up for it. We've got room for you. And just in general, I want to thank all of you guys who are following us on all channels. Remember the secret trick, if you haven't already, sign up on my Substack, and that way you get the email updates. We'll be wrapping up this live stream series here at the end of March, and you're going to want to continue to get this information over the course of the year. So go ahead and sign up on that Substack so you get the email updates. I think that's all I've got for tonight. Jeff, thank you so much. It's always good to join forces with you on this stuff. I really appreciate you making time.
Yeah, you and I are pretty formidable force for keeping our kayak anglers safe. So I appreciate everything you're doing for our community.
Oh, well, I mean, as you know, I don't actually fish, but I'm a hell of an advocate, and I believe in this family, and I want to do whatever I can to support it.
Thank you.
So, all right. Good night, everybody. We'll see you next Wednesday.